Hello everyone and welcome to This Week in Stupid for the 14th of May 2022. We got some really interesting news as usual, starting from India as is tradition, where two sisters accidentally married the wrong grooms during their joint wedding. You know, I understand marrying the wrong person, that's fine. But what is with the obsession of having joint weddings? You would think the wedding ceremony should be about you rather than some other hoe. I just don't understand what is up with people. So, turns out that there was a power outage while the marriage was taking place, and the priest accidentally confused the couples. I'm pretty sure there's a fetish about this somewhere. I mean, there might be some people that wouldn't mind a lot that it happened. But no, apparently the mistake was rectified because the couple wasn't that progressive. Although, if you're married, don't you get to consummate the marriage? It's probably not very feminist friendly, is it? So I'll be moving to the next love story before I get cancelled. In CNN Crime and Justice, more than a week after they disappeared, an Alabama inmate, and I love the word former correction officer, has left few clues for investigators on their trail. So what happened is that a murderer, as you can see here on the left side, has managed to bust away from prison with the help of the female correction officer on the right. Yes, she fell in love to his irresistible charms. And I don't know why this is a thing in the United States, but it does happen that, especially serial killers, they have a lot of female attraction. I don't notice this happening in other places. In Germany, for example, I've never heard about it in Romania. But in the United States, there's an entire phenomenon dedicated to this. When you have a person which does insurmountable evil, and then women write that person love letters in prison. But this lady apparently managed to take it another step, and she actually busted him out, and now no one knows where they are. And if you look at the picture, you wouldn't be able to tell, but he is actually younger than her. It's just that he's on drugs, which make him look a lot older than he is. So the moral of the story is don't bust men out of prison if you are a female correction officer, and don't do drugs. See, my channel has educational value, YouTube. I know there's a guy from YouTube that has to moderate and watch every single one of my videos. Hello, how's it going? I'm sorry I have to put you through this. I really am, but my channel has educational value. Tell Susan it has educational value. Let me show you how progressive the United Kingdom has become. I mean, they have struggled really hard to build back better. And now the building back, I guess, has been done. I don't know if it's better. Let's see. London fire chief warns against fires in homes to save on heating bills. So, in other words, there are people burning wood inside their modern apartments in order to heat themselves up because the price of gas is way too high. The standard of living has gone down the shitter in a first world country, and people are resorting to this. Apparently, the reason it even got into the press is because one of them caused a fire. So the question is how many of them have done this to the point where... And the fire chief had to step in by educating the public, okay? Again, my channel is about education, so I'm educating you as well. Don't start a fire into your house unless you have a place to do it, like a fireplace, unless you have a chimney. You know, the fire causes smoke. The smoke goes up. I don't even know how they did it, to be honest. I mean, it's a mystery. Have you ever did some grilling that went wrong and there's a lot of smoke? And it catches onto the walls and it causes damage to your house? I can't even imagine how it's like to start an actual fire with wood inside your house if it doesn't have a chimney. But yeah, apparently people should not try to reduce their energy bills by improvising open fires at home, fire chief has warned, after a man in southwest London. No, not London. London has a left-winning mayor. Like, London votes left. Left is all about diversity, equity, inclusion, lowering the income disparity, taxing the rich. I refuse to believe this. Must be fake news. No. Like, left is about prosperity. It's about helping the little person. It's not about having gas prices that are so ridiculously high that people have to burn wood in their house. But apparently 1 in 4 UK households, okay, 1 in 4, first world country, London, the capital, are now in fuel poverty. Now that's a new word that I've never heard up until this year. Fuel poverty, coined by The Guardian. Fuel poverty, which means millions are facing impossible choices because of their high energy bills. Some are choosing between heating and eating. So, do you want to stay warm tonight, or do you want to put food in your belly? Now, that is a choice that I never thought I have to make, but this is why it's progressive, because we have progressed to this standard of living. 5 years ago, it was reactionary, it was backwards, but now it's progressive. Some are choosing between heating and eating, others are disconnected completely, and some are even starting open fires. These aren't coping stages, it's people who feel they have no safe choice to make. Brilliant. Brilliant, London. I mean, I hope that the rest of Europe becomes like you, because I bet you have lowered the carbon emissions. You built back better, didn't you? I mean, the Green New Deal is finally taking roots in the UK. I love myself environmentalists. If I will see an environmental activist before, I will thank him for his service. Like, they did this. You know, they need to take credit for this, because after so many years of hard work, after so many years of championing Greta Thunberg, we have finally arrived to this stage. Now, while we're on the subject of poverty, I would like to say that I have managed to not only avoid it, and this next article is something that's very personal to me, because every single week, I'm not kidding, okay? I got 130,000 subscribers, so the more I get, the more likely that some of you are going to harass me, and every single week, there is a person coming into my DMs telling me to invest in crypto. And it's usually like some esoteric crypto coin that I've never heard about. But they provide mucho texto to explain to me that I should. Okay? So, that's not the problem. I mean, look, if I were able to make money easy, I would probably want to spread the message to other people. Like, I get it. But the problem is, like, when I refuse to invest, like when I tell them, no, I'm not interested, they provide even more mucho texto. And even though I don't read the mucho texto, like, no, seriously, if it's about crypto, I don't read the mucho texto. I know you guys are upset, the ones that are pushing for it, but I don't, honestly, okay? But I do feel that they're upset, they're angry. Like, the mucho texto is typed with anger, and they insult me because I'm a brainlet or something, and I do not understand the value of their esoteric coin. Which, like, look, you don't understand the fact that in order to invest, you need to have money. Like, I got a mortgage, first of all. Like, how do you want me to invest into something extra if I haven't paid the debts that I already have? Like, that doesn't sound very smart to me now, does it? And secondly, if I were to invest, I would probably invest in commodities. You know, the things that have worked for thousands of years. You know, land, silver, that type of shit. Like, real shit, like tangible shit. That if, like, I don't know, an EMP from Russia would come, like, it wouldn't erase my stuff. That's what I would have done. But again, I'm a brainerd. I know, mucho texto. I get it. But, now it's my time to give you mucho voice about your mucho texto. Because I looked at the DMs, and it was some people that invested me in buying Luna, like the moon. I don't fucking know what that is, but apparently it crashed. Okay? And there's a lot of people on Twitter right now who have started by explaining how to stay poor in current year, watch the news, side with the political party, hate rich people, don't invest in coin because I said so. Alright, and a couple of weeks later, started my first shift today at McDonald's. Had to let go of my ego, fuck Luna, and this whole crypto space. Okay, now, you know what, I changed my mind. I don't even need to say mucho texto, like, look, welcome back to the workforce, diamond hands. See See how effective that is? See how if you need to say mucho texto and you can't just phrase it in one sentence, then maybe you don't have such a strong point. I'm not saying you're wrong, but what I am saying is like when you can phrase it in one sentence, it's a lot more powerful. Like it means it doesn't require all the additional explanation. It's so self-evident that everyone gets it. Again, I know I probably upset a couple of you. Look, if you lost money over this, I'm not laughing at you or anything, right? But it is personal for me because I have been suffering a couple of glitches with the amount of people sneaking into my DMs trying to help me get rich. Like, I appreciate it. Thank you. But I'm still poor with my mortgage here. So please, just wait for me to pay my mortgage. Then I'll consider. All right? Let's put it like that. Until then, if you keep doing it, I'll keep laughing. God. Speaking about mortgage, you know, I looked at California, and as a new homeowner, things that happen to people that bought new houses and traumatizes me as well. It's called empathy. And this is what happened to a house in California, which apparently lives under the rules of Alfred Hitchcock, The Birds.
As we pulled up, we were thinking, well, 20 birds or so was no big deal. We opened the door, and it was like an Alfred Hitchcock. There were birds flying everywhere. I mean, it was crazy. We were ducking and dodging. I was grabbing a handful of birds. I grabbed maybe 3 of them.
I would pay money to see that. I would pay money to see that mental image in my head with the person walking into the house that's filled with birds, and now he is doing the Matrix dodge as the birds are flying towards him like bullets.
You can't get all that bird stuff out of the furniture. So all of the furniture is gone, all of the carpet is gone, the blinds are gone, everything.
Man, I don't know why they're complaining. I thought that Californians are made of sterner stock. I mean, they're used to seeing human feces outside, seeing bird feces by comparison. Probably not that much of a problem if it's inside, because it's very small, it's tiny, doesn't smell so bad. So you'd think they would be accustomed to it by now, but apparently not. Still, 20 grand, that's nothing, because now we got inflation. So soon, 20 grand is going to be pocket change. What's that? You didn't know that we're going to have inflation? I see. You must have been listening to the authoritative sources that YouTube is pushing really hard. Look at this. Kareem Carr explains why 2 + 2 = 5. That's why you need to listen to the authoritative sources. No, fact checkers, nothing got debunked up till now, by the way, so it must be true. Do you boast about your fitness? Watch out. You'll unavoidably become right-wing. This is from The Guardian. I'm not sure what exercise does for your body, but I do know what it does to your personality, and it's not pretty. Put down that dumbbell, bigot. Cosmopolitan, this is healthy. Oh, absolutely. Unfettered conversations are taking place on Clubhouse, an invitation-only app that lets people gather in audio of chat rooms. The platform has exploded in popularity despite grappling with concerns over harassment, misinformation, and privacy. Oh, I mean, we don't want any misinformation. We don't want any misinformation, now do we, authoritative sources? So, of course, the same sources have been pushing for months that printing money is not going to cause inflation. Now, I do have a newsflash. Printing money did indeed cause inflation.
And I agree with what Chairman Powell said last week, that the number one threat is the strength, and that strength that we build is inflation. So the Fed should...
Now, did he actually mean that? I don't know. The fact checkers, they're kind of slow today. I'm pretty sure they're going to release an article tomorrow saying, well, he did say that, but not really. You don't understand the context, and if you do understand the context, you don't really get the big picture, and if you do really get the big picture, then shut the fuck up because you're a bigot. But it's true, inflation is a power. I mean, you got to pay 20 grand in home repair because birds shut up your house. Well, now that's spare change, right? Is that not tsuyoi? Is that not being in power? And also, speaking of inflation, the reason that I really love this president, the reason that I have a dakimakura of Joe Biden in my house is because he is the only politician which promised something to me. Okay, and fact checkers haven't debunked it, so it must be true. If I'm elected president, I will always choose to unite rather than divide. I'll take responsibility instead of blaming others. I'll never forget that the job isn't about me, it's about you, right? So you, the citizen, that's why he is there. And he is also there to blame on the Republicans, because the Republicans have no plan on inflation. Does that make any sense? And also, take into account that he is not responsible for inflation. I know, like, all of these don't make any sense when you put them together, but this is why people are supposed to read the paper in separate days so they don't remember what was published the previous day. So watch how the Democrats are not responsible for inflation, because even though they control all three branches of government, they're not really in power.
Do you believe that you and your administration bear some measure of responsibility for the inflation that we're seeing across the country?
First is we're in power. That's the first thing. And you justifiably right, we control all three branches of the government. Well, we don't really.
So my question is, do you guys understand anything from what the authoritative sources and the politicians are telling us? Because it seems like a roller coaster ride when you put the news from 1 week next to each other. It's like, well, inflation is our strength, but actually Republicans have no plan for inflation. But wait, we didn't do the inflation because we're not in power, but we do control all three branches of government. Now, look, I want to be a fact checker, I just don't know where to apply. Like, I would love to send my resume so I can be the disinformation czar or the information czar or anything. I just don't know where to apply. So chat, look, I will show you my abilities. I will show you what I can do as a fact checker, and you tell me if I deserve the job or not. You put that down into the comment section, and you can say, yes, V, you're really good at this job, or no, V, you absolutely suck. You shouldn't even bother applying. So here is my resume.
We have to talk about it because the American people think the reason for inflation is government spending more money. Simply not true.
Inflation is made in Washington because only Washington can create money. And any other attribution to other groups of inflation is wrong. Consumers don't produce it. Producers don't produce it. The trade unions don't produce it. Foreign sheiks don't produce it. Oil imports don't produce it. What produces it is too much government spending and too much government creation of money and nothing else.
Would I make the cut? Would I make a good fact checker? Who knows? Only chat can tell. But in the meantime, I understand I should be moving on because we shouldn't criticize the American president due to the conflict in Ukraine.
I thank the gentleman for yielding. Mr. Speaker, it is unfortunate that at a time of war that we spend all the time blaming our own president.
So you got that, bigot? Shut the fuck up, accept the inflation, ignore the constant lower quality of living, and stop criticizing the president? Do you know what the solution for this would be? Vote Republican. Because if you vote Republican, then you can criticize the president. But until then, just shut the fuck up. So let's look at something else. Let's look at the European Union. Oh my God, where my taxpayer money is going. What are they doing right now that there's a conflict, okay? Because in the United States, we notice that there's unity, there's strength. Like, no one is criticizing their president. And the United States is far away from the conflict. But let's look at the European Union, which is very close to the conflict. How does that look like?
Na rzecz rewolucji. Jedna minuta okrzyku dla wszystkich na rzecz rewolucji.
Holy shit, taxpayer money well spent. You know, I agree with the leftist governments. We need to tax the rich even more so that the politician can enjoy more screaming. and whatever the fuck this is that you see on screen. Probably some environmentalism, activism, or whatever. But like, you know, I am really happy that while people are suffering and the quality of living is going down, they can afford to hire performance like that. You know, every little moment of my life is dedicated so that the politicians can gorge themselves on the taxpayer money and enjoy all that bizarre entertainment, which I am willing to bet costs more than $10,000. I am willing to put money on this, that performance was more expensive than $10,000. Like, look, I'm just guessing here. I don't know for sure, but I kind of know how these things are done. Because if the taxpayer is paying, then let's spare no expense and tax the rich a little bit more. Because that's progressive. But you know, the more that I'm thinking about it, I kind of know why that guy was screaming. He was probably screaming of the incoming online censorship that's happening in the European Union. Look, the EU wants to have all private chats, message, and emails automatically searched for suspicious content. Now, I can really get behind that because when I look at the nations of the world, I see China, and no one criticizes China. It must be such a perfect nation. It must be the perfect utopia. And if China supervises people's private chats, messages, and email, why shouldn't the European Union? Let's give them more power. In fact, at the EU summit, which Guy Verhofstadt talks about, they literally talked about taking away more sovereignty from independent nation states, taking away the right to veto, and forming an EU army. I want European strength, power, and dominance, goddammit, because that is how the world used to work. And let's take that back. You know, let's put Germany in charge. A German Europe for the average man. What do you guys think, huh? Is it a good idea? I mean, I don't know, but it's where things are getting to. And it's not like there's any referendum or asking the population about what they want, because democracy is in the European Union. So I guess I need to support it, right? It's my patriotic duty now. The little trade agreement became a super state, so I gotta be patriotic. But anyway, let's go back to the United States, because I know a lot of you want me to talk about the most boring subject ever, which is that of abortions. I do notice that if you're a progressive individual, you need to stop supporting diversity for a little bit. I mean, we got more diversity here with the people that are against Roe v. Wade than with the people that were for. You need to stop thinking that, I mean, I don't even know how to think about this, right? Because they say men shouldn't have an opinion on abortion, but I mean, they can't even define what a woman is, but that's not even the point. The people who passed Roe v. Wade were all men. So, like, men can't have an opinion, but it's okay because those men had an opinion back in the day. So now you can't really take back the opinion of those men, even though you have, like, a woman on the team. I don't know. It's a little bit complex. I guess I need to go to gender studies for a little bit to understand this thinking. It's why it's called university, right? Gender studies is at university. You need to be at the upper echelons of education in order to understand this. Then you need to again rearrange, reorganize, recircuit your thinking, because before vaccines had to be mandatory, right? So the politicians should have voted on a law to make it mandatory, but now the only person who should have control over your personal medical decision is you. I mean, look, the human brain can handle so much. And this is why progressives are very intelligent people, because they can go through these changes on a constant basis without short-circuiting. I personally can't do it. Like, I like to know what the principle is and then follow the policy that stems from that principle. But, like, it shows to me that there is another level of humanity. Like, you can transcend your humanity and become this very intelligent being, which one day can think something, another day can think something else. You just pick and choose of what's appropriate, and you're very opinionated about it. Like, you really hammer home the point that you're going to disagree with the next day. And also, apparently now it's okay to protest in front of judges' homes. Like, I thought that's illegal. I guess it's okay now, but, like, maybe in the future, when it's going to be a different type of case or a different scenario, it will stop being okay. So you need to understand, you know, reality is in constant flux. It's in constant transition. Like what's okay now is okay only for now, but like tomorrow it might not be okay. It really depends. Alright, so this is why you need to worship this particular lady. Like you need to bow down whenever you find her in front of the television because she's giving you wisdom. She may not necessarily tell you what's correct, but she will tell you what is appropriate to think. Like the correct thinking that will make you acceptable among other progressive people. If you have those thoughts, you're a good citizen. If you don't have those thoughts, you're a bad citizen. So maybe this is how, like, progressives justify the constant flux that reality finds itself in. It's like, how will I be perceived by my group if I think this way? But how do I know what to think? Oh, I'll turn on the television and listen to the authoritative sources. Which are saying, could your online search history on abortion lead to an arrest warrant if Roe v. Wade falls? You know, I'm not even going to check this, but I'm willing to bet the answer is no. But maybe it should. Maybe it should. Oh my god. Oh, the absolute timeline. The absolute freaking timeline. Okay, so criticizing the American president on the lowering of the quality of living is not okay because there's like more important shit going on, like a conflict with Ukraine, okay? We need to focus on that. Rally behind the makes sense, right? Makes sense. But also, we need to focus on abortion. Make more TikTok videos. You know what? Just so you can see what a good person I am, I will not even make you have to go through that. Like, I could have filled this with more content. I could have shown you a couple of TikTok videos. But, I decided against it. Because I love you guys. I actually love you guys. I love the chat. And I don't want to make you go through all of that. But, if you love me in return, please watch my live stream. It's going to come up right after this. And I apologize if this week is stupid turned out to be a little bit late. I had some problems in my life. Yes, I do have a real life. I know it's shocking, but I do. And because of that, I wasn't able to finish This Week is Stupid on time. You may see that some of my videos have been delayed on my main channel as well, so I apologize for that. But I'm here now. There's a lot more news. I mean, we haven't talked about Eurovision. We haven't talked about other important things. So we're going to discuss them on my live stream. There's a link into the pinned comment, which should take you to my live stream channel. And hopefully, I will see you guys there. And if you want to support this and get some buyer's remorse, please click the super thanks button. And yeah, see you guys in the comment section or hopefully on my live stream. Take care.